If you want to start a business or are in your first 5 years since founding, then this video is for you. According to Failory's 2021 report, 90% of startups fail. 10% on the first year and 70% during years 2 to 5. Lucky you, as we are going to evaluate the reasons for failure and give you ways to solve them. By learning from other people's mistakes, you can shorten your path to success, and giving you examples companies who have used this tactics and grown to billion-dollar valuations. They're arranged from least common to most common in solutions to the problem. So make sure to stick to the end. 6. Legal problems, 2%. Heavily regulated industries like food and finance have a lot of legal obstacles to venture into. They require a lot of certificates from different authorities ranging from public health, food regulation boards to name a few. Hence, as an entrepreneur, these two industries may be challenging to dominate, let alone get into. Also, as in the current case between Oreo and Hydrox. Larger players may use their power and resources to throw the competition out of the market. Solution to legal issues include I. Having larger capital to cater for all the government fees. E. Moving out to another state which has lower rates, like from New York to Texas or Florida. But also make sure as you do this that your service or product has a market in the other location. A good example is Burger King, who moved their headquarters from USA to Canada. This saved them up to $275 million in fees. 5. Operation cost higher than revenue, 2%. Imagine your startup breaks through the market. Your customers love your product and you're getting sales you dreamed of. But an issue arises and you cannot cover employees' salaries, marketing fees, and also inventory? You might be tempted to get a loan or sell your possession to cover the cost. And if this scenario repeats itself, you might end up in debt. You realize that operation costs are higher than your revenue and you can't pay your employees. This happens often in startups when founders are excited about getting their product out there, but they ignore the consequences. So here are the solution to prevent that from happening. I. Be open to change. Whether it's your business model that needs to be changed, your product, service, your approach, the idea, or even the pricing, if you want your startup to survive, some things need to be done differently. Furthermore, it might be a good idea to cut back on operations costs, even if that often means letting some people go. An example being 2020's pandemic. Lots of US and America lost our jobs. Although it hurt many livelihoods, it was the wisest decision most companies, especially airlines and hotels, could make just to stay in business. 4. Competition, 6%. It's important to be aware of what your competitors are doing. What if a competitor took your idea and implemented it in another way? The goal is to be prepared and expect such moves from your competitors. Also, some fields such as tech are dominated by powerful conglomerates. Try and find out what they are doing and offer better services, products to stand out. Solution. I. Make a sheet with your strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. And constantly push to improve what needs improving. E. Emphasize what makes your product different. Protect that competitive advantage and leverage it. E. Add value to your customers through secondary means such as excellent customer service, flawless execution, etc. 3. Financial problems, 16%. This happens to startups no matter their investment being in millions or billions. Having cash does not assure success. What makes a distinction between successful companies and failed ones is having a skilled administration crew that can regulate spending, mostly after getting a new round of investment. Solutions. I. Have a long-time plan and consult with customers on what they need. This way you don't spend money developing features that nobody needs. An example being BlackBerry. Despite being the leading company in late 2000s, they have now collapsed as they did not adjust quickly to make touch-screen phones and instead continued making QWERTY keypad phones, which they had become famous for. E. Don't allow emotions in business. It would be great to move into a bigger, more luxurious office, but base your decisions on analysis and needs, not emotions and wants. E. Keep a close eye on cash flow and important financial documents so nothing can take you by surprise. An example being your workers may be stealing money from you. IV. Have backup plans for the worst-case scenario that can be swiftly deployed if certain triggers are activated. 2. Working crew problems, 18%. Behind every successful startup is a competent crew, with a mix of talents and complementary personalities. However, the contrary is also true, and an incompetent team can lead a business to collapse. How, you may ask yourself? 1. They're not focused on building a strategy, but rather on building a product that nobody wants. 2. They fail to discuss ideas among themselves. 3. They can't deliver their best service in the business. 4. They lack transparency and fail to create a culture of trust. Solution: I. Encourage a culture where getting to learn through failure is encouraged. E. Surround yourself with people with different talents, backgrounds, and desire to learn, and who are not offended when corrected and aren't afraid to speak their thoughts. E. Make certain you've got all of the skills you need in the team. Some startups fail because they didn't have a CTO to validate the technical decisions or a CFO to keep all financial aspects under control. 1. Marketing, 56%. Most startups fail because they did not solve a market need. Or if they did not market it properly to the audience. This simply means that people have no use for what you are building. Most businesses assume they know their customer base, without putting in effort to validate their assumptions. Understanding your consumer base is a process that many founders skip, knowingly or not, by simply not finding a way to structure properly. Realizing you don't know your market is a clear sign of early-stage startup failure. Before moving forward with your idea, you should answer these questions. What problems are my customers facing? Do they have any doubts about trying out my product? What might these doubts be? Solutions: I. Know your target audience, ideally before beginning your startup journey. Find a way to understand what motivates them, their needs, their pain points, and what the ideal solution is for them. A good method is to conduct customer interviews and reviews, applying root cause analysis techniques such as asking them reasons for their answers. E. If you have already began and realized you don't know your market, take time to provide excellent customer support. Set up communication channels across social media and your website, and monitor everything they're saying, the good and the bad. Keep customers updated with changes you plan to implement and encourage feedback. Make sure your account managers are on top of the situation and don't miss any early signal that a customer is struggling. And LASTLYSUBSCRIBE.
You smart. You very smart. We the best. You a genius. I appreciate you. You loyal. I changed a lot. You can too.